First things first, the Aaron Rodgers drama rolls on, and wait till you hear what one Packers insider has to say about it.
Worse than the Brett
The writing's on the wall for Jimmy G, and you might be surprised what he thinks about it. And who is at the top of Nick's MVP ladder with the regular season winding down? The answer may surprise you, and by may, I mean will. Trust me on it. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolfe, Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wilds. Nick, how late into the evening did the committee convene last night to come up with the ladder you're going to unveil today?
Oh, we had to stay up late, and I'm sorry to tell you, DeAndre Jordan ended up getting taken off the ladder after last night's performance. Sorry, he was there, and now he's out. Now he's out.
Clearly comes as a surprise to all of us.
One game too many.
Let's start on the court. Big game last night. Nets and Bucks running it back. Bucks beat them on Sunday. Last night, thanks to a Bucks rally in the fourth, thanks to 36 from Giannis, Bucks beat him again. Despite a combined 70 points from Kyrie and KD, it wasn't enough. And for Brooklyn, this is their third straight loss. And for head coach Steve Nash, that's kind of a mini blessing. Take a listen.
I think it's a great experience for us to recognize where we are. We've got a gap to make up here. So we understand that's a team that's been running the same offense, been playing together, same schemes on defense for years now, gone deep into the playoffs, and that's something that we don't have. So how can we make up that gap? And that's kind of our life in a nutshell heading home here is, we're trying to get everyone back to full health, and we're going to try to overcome a lack of common experiences. And, that is our challenge.
The glass is half full for Coach Nash. Down the stretch they come in the East. Sixers, look at this. A game and a half ahead of Brooklyn. Nets, game and a half up on Milwaukee. It's going to be a fun last stretch here. Nick, should the Nets be worried, or will this all be fixed if James Harden returns?
Well, I would say they'd be worried, but I hear Steve Nash, and he says this was a good experience, losing to them twice in a few days. So I have great news for Steve Nash and the Nets. If this was a good experience, imagine how thrilling it's going to be in the playoffs in the second round when you lose to them 4 times in 2 weeks and your season's over, because that's what we are barreling towards. You just showed it. The 1 seed is now over. It's gone. Goodbye. If Brooklyn went undefeated the rest of the way, Philly would have to lose 3 times in their final 7 games against the worst schedule in the league, so it's not going to happen. The 1 seed's gone. They might not even get the 2 seed at this point because they don't have the tiebreaker with Philly or with Milwaukee thanks to last night. So why don't they have the tiebreaker with Milwaukee? Well, part of it is because in their 3 games against Milwaukee, Giannis is averaging a humble 40, 11, and 5. I'll say that again, 40, 11, and 5. But last night, that wasn't why they lost. Because last night, while KD was bad in the fourth quarter, Giannis actually was a little worse. So why did the Nets blow a fourth quarter lead? And why isn't James Harden going to be able to come save the day on this? Let's show 7 consecutive fourth quarter baskets in a critical late season game. That's a layup, okay? So now the Bucks have the lead. That's a layup. Kevin Durant gets bodied. That's a layup. These are, again, 7 baskets in a row. What's the word for that? Oh, that's a layup. Okay, hold on. Giannis, okay, that's a layup and a foul. And then, hold on, wait, what's this? Jump shot? No, layup. Okay, cool. Are we going to get a jump shot? No, just uncontested layup again. And now all of a sudden, there it is. Those are the 7. Now it's on replay. Brandon, James Harden ain't riding in on his white horse to fix this shot chart. Can't hit a 3 in the fourth quarter. Who cares? Because look at all those green dots at the basket. Layup, and then 1 mid-range jump shot. That's a problem. And I don't know why anyone would think that will be different when these teams play in the second round of the playoffs a month from now.
Look, man, you did a great job covering all your bases. Great job, Nick. But here's the deal, man. You shouldn't be worried as a Nets fan. You should be frustrated as a Nets fan. The difference in that game and everything that you highlighted is valid. The Bucks, they entered these last 2 games as playing games, as playoff games. And the Nets were just like, we'll just wait till we get to the playoffs. So everything that you just showed on the defensive side, that wasn't assignment, that was effort. And that is the problem. Like, as a Nets fan, I want to see James Harden be the MVP. I want to see the Nets finish first in the East. I want to see them attack games like this, like it's a play-in, like it's a playoff. I want to see them show the same energy and effort that the Bucks showed last night in the last 2 games. They didn't do that. You could have even thrown up more defensive plays, Nick. You could have shown Kyrie Irving getting picked, not fighting through the pick. You could show Kyrie Irving hitting a big shot in the second quarter, the third quarter, not smiling, not cheering with his teammates. KD, the same thing. Joe Harris, the same thing. DeAndre Jordan. Don't even get me started on DeAndre Jordan. Man, I'm not trying to kill Jordan because we need him down the stretch, but that was pathetic. That was bad. Now, so my concern is not with the last 2 games. It's more so about this team showing the effort in a big moment. This was a big moment. And the reason why I'm not concerned, Wilds, is this, right? Like, as far as, like, overall, when you look at the big picture, is because James Harden is the key. Don't listen to Nick. James Harden is the key. When James Harden is there, they're 27-7. When he's not there, they're 9-10. James Harden is the key.
That's right. You are a healthy James Harden hamstring away from stopping Giannis. If James Harden and his hamstring were there, Giannis would be neutralized. That is not going to happen, Brandon. I don't care if James Harden gets an extra hamstring. He has my hamstring, and he swings it around like a broom to stop Giannis. It's not going to work. Yes, that's a visual of James Harden swinging my detached hamstring. Good morning, everybody. Here's what's happening, Nick, and I'm going to dig down on what you said. Giannis has turned into Wilt Chamberlain when he plays the Nets. And I'm not saying that James Harden is able to stop this, but we've got 50 points, 44 points. There's Giannis, 39 points. So, do I think, look at Giannis looking great. Got traded to the Sixers, but you get the point of it. So, Nick, do I think that James Harden might be the answer to stopping one of the greatest offensive forces in the history of basketball? The answer is no. And for the record, I don't think Blake is either.
Wow.
Buddy.
So
here's
hold on.
the thing.
Let me jump in here.
Go ahead, Brandon. Yeah, please.
So what I hear you saying is when they see each other in the playoffs that you're taking the Bucks. Is that what I hear you saying, Wilds?
Oh, big time. I'm a Bucks guy. I'm drinking Miller Lite, dude. I love it.
Here's what you fail to realize, Wilds, is that you're talking about Giannis and you're talking about defense. There was no strategy. So I don't know if the strategy was, hey, we know we're going to face this team in the playoffs, so let's not show what we're going to do on the defensive end. Because if you go back to the Philly game when they played against Joel Embiid, what did they do? They trapped them at the perimeter. They actually schemed Embiid. They didn't do that with Giannis. Everybody has the book out on Giannis. Everybody knows how to stop Giannis. What do they say? Build the wall. Let them shoot threes. They was letting them shoot threes, but they didn't build the wall. They were just playing one-on-one. And then down the stretch, Nick, it was cool to see KD step up in the fourth quarter and say, I have Giannis. But what happened? The effort wasn't there. He get easily picked. He doesn't fight through. He's like, okay, now you got him. So why did you take him in the first place? So it's frustrating because they didn't show their scheme. You know, they didn't show the effort. And these are the moments where you're like, you know what? We want to see, as fans, we want to see you guys step up to the challenge, and they didn't do that.
And I got 2 points here, because they're both building off what Brandon said. Because KD is an excellent defender when he wants to be. But what is the rule in the NBA? You only have so much energy. And can we show what guarding Giannis in the fourth quarter, he did a good job on Giannis, what it does to your fourth quarter offense? Oh, Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers in NBA history, he's guarding Giannis, and that's off the side of the backboard. Okay, late in the game. Wait, this is a huge possession, down 5. I got it. Okay, no, I missed it. Give me another shot. Give me another shot. I'm not tired. I got it. Oh, dear God. That's a shot I don't know that I'm familiar with seeing from Kevin Durant. An air ball, but it's hard to guard Giannis. And Brandon, just real quick, and then you go, just real quick. Your sense of urgency point, to me, is a correct, but a total indictment on the Nets. They could have avoided ever having to play the Bucks. Again, if they won these 2 games, they're first in the East, Philly second, and Philly-Milwaukee is round 2. So if these games aren't important, then what is important? Now you got to play this team in round 2 for 2 weeks. Like, they signed up for that by not having a sense of urgency, as you put it.
Let me galvanize the Nets fans right now, the Brooklyn faithfuls. Listen, guys, we got to believe in Steve Nash. Obviously, Steve Nash and his veteran coaching staff, they have a plan, they have a strategy. So we have to believe because we know who we have. And, Nick, what you just said as far as KD, you're spot on. You're right. If you gotta play both ends of the court that way, you're going to be depleted in the fourth quarter. But guess what? You have James Harden coming back, and you don't have to score because James Harden will take over in the fourth quarter. That's what's going to happen, and that's what we're missing is Mr. James Harden the big.
The idea is. Yeah, score 130 every night.
Look at Jenna. Jenna, you gotta step in there with me. You believe?
I'm trying. I forgot what he's like playing. It's been so long. Nets are in Dallas, by the way, for a matchup with the Mavs tomorrow night. Let's take a turn. Let's talk some Aaron Rodgers, the other big story this morning, because the rumors continue to swirl. What are the chances Aaron Rodgers is a Packer come week 1? I'm looking for a number here. We discuss it next. First things first. Drawing a blank, guys. Let's start with LeBron. LeBron's going to reportedly miss the next 2 games with ankle soreness. That would be tomorrow against the Clippers and then Friday night against Portland. A reminder, only 7 games left on the schedule. Every game counts at this point. So Brandon, LeBron reportedly being out the next 2 games to rest his ankle is blank.
No big deal. LeBron James is a pro. What does that mean? He's going to do everything in his power to be exactly where he needs to be when the lights turn on. We saw him already on the sideline, his highlights when he hasn't been playing, getting those mental reps, going through his game, with no ball in his hand. That's the baller's lifestyle right there. But that's not the problem. The problem is AD. AD is the problem. LeBron James is going to be there. Where's AD? Are we going to see a glimpse of the AD from the bubble? So this isn't a big deal. LeBron taking off more time to get ready and gearing up for the play-in, Nick.
Well, I don't know if they're going to be in the play-in, but the odds of them being in the play-in go up drastically the more time LeBron misses. And LeBron resting his injured ankle, it ain't great, especially with a critical game against Portland. I'm not as concerned about the game against the Clippers. The Portland game, not because the Clippers aren't good, but because the Portland game has the tiebreaker implications and the 5, 6, 7 implications. Listen, I talked to LeBron's camp yesterday, and I was told if the playoffs were starting today, he would 100% be playing. But they confirmed what I already knew if you watch these 2 games. He wasn't right. He wasn't turning the corner right. He wasn't exploding to the basket. He came back a few days early. So now we'll see if Anthony Davis can do in these next 2 games at least once what he did against the Nuggets. Be the best player on the court, win the game on both ends, and steal a win. But in the meantime, they're going to have to hold on for dear life until LeBron comes back.
Which is insane. What he had, 19 points?
Quick impression from your old buddy Kevin Wildes here. Ready for this? Here's my quick impression. Watch this. You know what this is? I got my feet up here. You know what I am? I'm the guy who invented the play-in game. Oh, you gonna fire me? Oh, I get a winner-go-home game against LeBron and Zion? Or LeBron and Steph? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll be fired. I'll be fired with a huge rating, of NBA Finals rating. Yeah, fire me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, ideas too good, too much money, too interesting. Is that the issue? Plain ratings. Home run. Great job, buddy, whoever your name is.
It's awesome. Head up to the Tundra now where Aaron Rodgers, all that drama continues. Packers insider Rob Demalski thinks Rodgers, ready for this? He has a less than a 5% chance of staying with Green Bay this season. So, Brandon, the chances of Rodgers being on the Packers week 1 are blank.
James Harden, just like I said when James Harden stood up and said, I want out of Houston. Well, what does that mean? If a guy wants out, he'll get out. You just got to get messy. You got to be willing to get uncomfortable like the Houston Rockets organization said they were willing to do it, and a month later they trade the guy after Boogie Cousins stand up and says, I can't play with this guy. But here's the thing, Nick. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if he's willing to get uncomfortable. Like, we're really going to see who he really is in the next couple weeks. Like last night at the Bucks-Nets game, he was getting booed. Are you okay with that? Are you comfortable with your legacy being a little dinged? So it's James Harden. Let's see who he really is if he's ready to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, if people don't know what Brandon's referring to in the Bucks-Nets game, they played a video, a commercial or something of Rodgers on the Jumbotron, and there was a smattering of boos at Fiserv Forum, which shows maybe the public's turning against him a bit. But I would say the chances of Aaron Rodgers being on the Packers week 1 are lower than I thought. Because let me tell you something about Rob Domofsky. Now, I don't know Rob, except for through Twitter, but he's been covering the Packers for 25 years. He is a legitimate journalist. Not what I do for a living, which is occasionally dabble in journalism like with the LeBron news, but really it just takes. It's just rapid fire, incredibly accurate, perfectly delivered takes. Rob Domofsky is out here giving you information. And if he is saying it's a less than 5% chance Rodgers stays with the team, that's a sit up in your chair and take notice moment, Wilds, because I know yesterday it feels to me like you and many of us have thought, okay, this probably gets worked out. But I now think it is greatly more likely that Rodgers moves on than that he plays for the Packers.
Okay, Nick, come on. Give me something better than that. You just gave us the preview that you have incendiary takes. I don't want to hear like probably, most likely that he moves on. You got to say like this guy's he's got a Broncos jersey waiting for him. Order it up from Fanatics. I got to see it, buddy. You got to lost your mojo there. Come on. Okay, my answer is the Brady remix. Oh, call up Pete Rock or P. Diddy. This is the Brady remix. Yeah, you're sad. You're a little upset at the team. You're upset at the, organization. You don't have enough weapons. You take a bunch of subtle shots, and then you put your house up on the market. You have a kind of a fizzled out year where you take some more shots at your weapons around you, and then you say, you know what? I'm out of here. The cap hit is too big for them to trade him even after June 1st. So I think he stays, but next year, out of here, Brady style.
All right, let's talk some Tim Tebow. Last week has reported that Tebow worked out for the Jaguars, not as a quarterback, as a tight end. Tony Khan, who's the son of the Jaguars owner, said, quote, Urban really believes Tebow can help us. So, Brandon, Tebow playing for the Jags this season would be blank.
Great. Great for business. Great for ticket sales. Great for TV ratings. Great for the locker rooms. Nick, this is great.
No, it's not.
Love it.
Aesop's Fables. Why do I say Aesop's Fables? Because that's where the term be careful what you wish for, you just might get it comes from. All right, be careful, Tony Khan. You got a nice little mojo momentum going. Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, excitement around the Jags. Wait until Trevor Lawrence has 3 bad quarters, and you're like, what are the fans chanting? What's going on? Are we hearing Tebow? The Tebow media and fan machine. No one can get out of it. It is like a black hole. It will suck anything in its path into it. You don't want to sign up for this, guys.
You're concerned for Trevor?
I'm concerned for Mahomes. I am telling you, if the Jags had Mahomes, there would be fans that would wait for one incompletion and start holding up Tebow 316 signs. I'm telling you, you don't want to get in this business, Wilds.
Let me get a few snaps. Hey, just run the Wildcat. What's wrong with diversifying the offense a little bit? Just give him a few different looks. Run the off. Just give him a little bit of Wildcat. Jenna, speaking of what Brandon says, I would like player coach. Good for the locker room. Player coach. Tebow's going to be 34. McVay's 35. So you're getting closer to the ages of coaches than you are to players. Why don't you give coaching? You can do one of those big, trust me, look at me, look at me. That video is so old, by the way. It's shot on standard definition. So start to move into coach.
Guys are going to ignore him.
All right, busy day around baseball last night. A sport Tim Tebow also tried playing. Weird and wonderful from Kevin Wildes last night. Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton goes 4 for 5, including a monster home run. But Wildes, you spotted some fan interactions during this game. What do you got for us?
Oh my, this was just the best baseball game. It's actually just a roast and a baseball game on the side. Here's a fan dressed up as Oscar the Grouch. Turns out from June Lee, he was not allowed to wear this Oscar the Grouch costume. I thought he was dressed up as just a monster because we can't see the garbage can that he's wearing in there. So fantastic job to this guy. Sorry you couldn't wear your Oscar the Grouch costume in there. Also, you got to wear the full head. And look at this guy, a true American hero, number 99, gets his inflatable garbage can taken away. But who's this? Who's this in the black sweatshirt handing a stranger a Bud Light on the way up, and he takes it like they're lifelong friends? Call whatever your name is, buddy. Black sweatshirt guy. Shoot me an email. I'm gonna buy you a case of Bud Light. And finally, this guy's like, hey, on the same Twitter thread, it's like that's why they can't take away your mini recyclable and your mini bat.
Mini recycle.
They're bagging it.
That's great.
Look, was it affecting the Astros? I'm gonna say no. But do I like sort of the carry-all if your travel trash can and travel bat? Savvy move, well done. Astros, Yankees.
I disagree.
Job.
I think it affected the Stros. Yankees actually won a game. They're putting together a little mini streak. They won 7-3 last night. All right, back
Great
talking
ball.
ladders, specifically one ladder, Nick's MVP ladder. Which one of these stars has the top spot? Nick reveals all next. This is First Things First on a Wednesday morning. Sunday on FS1. Oh, Brandon, the stars of NASCAR going old school with the throwback race from Darlington. Catch some of the most iconic rides as they hit the track for
Jenna.
the Goodyear 400. But it starts at 3:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Tell us, B. Marsh.
Bubba Rowdy. Bubba, let's go, Bubba. Let's go, Bubba. Come on.
All right. Well, we'll put Bubba Rowdy on the side for a second because it is finally time. Nick's new NBA MVP ladder. We're in the stretch run now, the regular season. Most teams, they got about 6 or 7 games left. Ton of stars have juggled the lead for the MVP throughout the season. Nick Wright, take us through what you've got with a week and a half to go, buddy.
All right, we've got an 8-person ladder. There's only 5 spots on an MVP ballot. So these first 3 guys would not currently make my final ballot, but they deserve mention. Number 8, Luka Doncic. That team is drawing dead without him. The victim of expectations. 28, 8, and 9 for the season, and people think he's having a bad year. Luka comes in number 8. LeBron. What obviously kills him is the missed time. He was first or second when he got hurt. The team's record with him, though, is still exceptional. His numbers are exceptional, but he falls to 7th. And if he misses more time, he could fall further even than this if we were to do this a week from now. And then Kawhi. Kawhi's been great. But somehow, Kawhi's going to miss 20 games this year. LeBron's played 43 games. Kawhi somehow only played 48. That's why Kawhi doesn't actually make the ballot. Now guys who will make the ballot, but not win. 3, 4, 5, here they are right now. Steph Curry, 31.5 points per game. The team is drawing dead on offense without him. Just no shot at scoring without him. And he's played a bunch this year, but they're a 500 team, so I can't put him higher than 5th. Giannis. If Giannis hadn't won the last 2 MVPs, we probably would be looking slightly more fondly upon his performance this year. But even if he hadn't won the last 2 MVPs, I don't think he would win it this year because the Bucks currently are the 3 seed and his numbers are not quite as good as they were last year. But he certainly should be on the ballot. And then there's Embiid. They're going to be the 1 seed. He is a brilliant player on both ends of the court. His numbers are out of this world. He's 2nd in the league in PER. But again, the games played. We talked about LeBron. LeBron's played 43. Embiid's only played 46. But they're the 1 seed, and he was playing so exceptionally before the injury he can stay there. And now the controversial part. Your top 2. Number 2, Nikola Jokic.
Wow.
The Joker's been awesome. He has a 31 plus PER. They are 9-2 since Jamal Murray went down. His passing as a big man is the best we have seen since Bill Walton. I am not taking away from Joker, but this is the league's most valuable player. It is not league leader in PER. It is not scoring champion. It is not best stats. It is all of that into a nice little tapestry. Wow. Who adds the most value? The Phoenix Suns last year before the bubble were so bad that they went undefeated in the bubble and did not make the play-in. They were 26-39 before the bubble. They switched out Ricky Rubio and Kelly Oubre for Chris Paul. And now they have the best record in the entire NBA. Chris Paul, his entire career, has affected winning. The Hornets, they get him as a rookie. They go up 20 wins. He leaves. They go down 25 wins. The Clippers get him. They go plus 9 wins, even though the season was only 66 games that year. They immediately make the second round of the playoffs. The Rockets get him. They win 65 games and are up 3-2 on the unbeatable Warriors until he gets hurt. The Thunder are trying to tank, and they get him. And they make the playoffs and get to Game 7 of a first round. The Suns are trying to take the leap from non-playoff team to playoff team. They get him, and they have the best record in the NBA. No one has added more value to their team this year than Chris Paul. He will not win the MVP. He should be the MVP.
What a case.
There's my MVP ladder, Brandon.
Great job. Excellent.
That was really good, Nick.
Nicholas
really good.
James Wright. You say some crazy things on this show. You sold your stock on Tom Brady too early. The Nets, even when they're at their highest moments, you continue to push back on the Nets. Josh Allen, most improved player ever in the National Football League. You still don't believe in him. You love Baker Mayfield, but you don't like Josh Allen. Like, you say some crazy things, brother.
Yes.
But this CP3 thing, I'm with you, buddy. You got this right. You got this right. Listen, Embiid, he missed way too many games. And since coming back, he's been coasting. Okay, Jokic, I just don't think that the Nuggets, he's playing phenomenal, but the Nuggets they're not a good team. And if the precedent is it comes from a top seed, a 1 or 2 seed, then you got to take him out. He's playing good, but the Nuggets just aren't a good team. And then you have James Harden, who I believe in. If he didn't get hurt, he didn't pull his hamstring, he would be my MVP. But he missed too many games, missed way too many games. CP3, we're talking about just transforming an organization and a culture in less than, 3 months? They didn't even have a whole offseason. You didn't even talk about that, Nick. They didn't have a whole offseason. It was like 70-something days. It's been 10 years since this organization's been in the playoffs, Wilds, okay? We're talking about Devin Booker, their superstar, was 14. So, Nick, I'm with you here, man. I'm with you when you're right, man. You got this right. And I'm surprised that you went out there on this limb and said CP3 deserves to be the MVP.
And let me just respond real quick to the narrative part of this. And maybe it should or it shouldn't factor into it. The fact of the matter is, in the micro and the macro, CP3 will age better as an MVP. In the micro, he will age better because it is incredibly likely the Nuggets go home in round 1. That won't be Jokic's fault, but it's likely. And the MVP having to be awarded in some hallway somewhere because he's not playing in round 2 ain't great. And in the macro, Wilds, when you look at the list of league MVPs over history, I say this with respect to Jokic. Historically speaking, he would be the worst one we've had in 35 years. Chris Paul wouldn't be. Chris Paul's an all-time great player. Nikola Jokic is having a great season and a very good player. But when you look at who's won the MVPs, it's Giannis, it's Steph, it's LeBron, it's Durant, it's Rose pre-injury, Nikola Jokic. Oh, okay, that must have been a weird season. So I think even on the narrative stuff, Wild, CP3 makes more sense.
I totally agree with you. And I have a call to action. If you've ever played with CP3, if you've ever played against CP3, if you've ever been on a banana boat with CP3, start talking about CP3 for MVP. It's a narrative award and it needs momentum. So the idea they're like, give Chris Paul his flowers, like a tweet. No, Get out there and start talking about him being the MVP because he deserves it. And now I will change to my person who I would like. I don't think this is the MVP. I agree with you. I think CP3 is the MVP. But I just want him on a rung. I just want to get him on Nick Wright's ladder. And that person is, drum roll please, Julius Randle of the New York Knickerbockers. Let's go. Let's go, Julius Randle, for the following reasons. Nobody, you live in New York. Get ready. Oh, what is this? They're hosting a playoff series for the first time since 2013? That's right. New York is back. People are wearing dunks and eating in restaurants. Since 2013, Julius Randle, they're going to host a playoff series. Reason number 2, the best ability is availability. How many games did this guy miss? 100? How many games did this guy miss? 200? Oh, this guy hasn't played since 4 years ago. You know how many games Julius Randle has missed? 1. He's got the most cumulative minutes of anyone in the league, and he's averaging a league-high 37. And finally, number 3. Whose music is that? Is that Larry Bird's music? What? Julius Randle can hit threes like Larry Bird? Indeed, he can. Now look, it's fantastic. 24 points, 10 rebounds, shooting 40% on 3. Now, Nick, I am not saying this guy is the MVP. I don't think he deserves to bring home the hardware. But
who do you replace
if I told you at the beginning of the season that the Knicks would have the same record as the Lakers and we'd be hosting a home playoff series, you'd be like, what? Why? How? And the answer is Julius Randle. I just want him on the ladder.
That's
just put him on the ladder. Even a lower rung.
I've got Wilds. I've got him at the top of the ladder. The MIP ladder, which he will win. He is the most improved player, and congratulations, Julius. And you're even on the cover of the New Yorker, somewhere in the background, in between Kyrie Irving's thighs. That's fine. I'm happy for you, buddy. But you're not an MVP.
He can't be most improved.
I think he is going to be most improved. I think he is going to be most improved.
He's been in the league for 9 years.
By the way,
what is it, 8 years?
Yes, and he took a lead. And by the way, if there's one person who I thought you were going to make the case for, but man, Wilds is so fickle. I can't imagine what dating you in high school was like. Dame. You should have made the case for Dame. Dame was the guy I had the hardest time leaving off. You love Dame. You adore Dame. And now you're like, oh, I live in New York, even though I actually live in upstate somewhere and I commute.
It's Julius time now, Wilds.
Yeah.
It's Julius
He's not a real New Yorker.
I don't know where Wilds lives. It's far away. He lives by a beach somewhere.
It is really Super 6 time. Make sure you enter today's Fox Bet Super 6 NBA contest. A chance to win $25,000. Download the app.
Houston wins tonight.
6 of today's games for your shot to win.
Rockets.
As always, completely free to play. Back talking the Niners.
Let's go, Nets.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Is Jimmy G ready to become a mentor to Trey Lance? He thinks so. We'll discuss that next. First things first. Back here, first things first, and we're talking about the 49ers. After all that pre-draft chatter and hoopla and hype, their quarterback room will now have Trey Lance coming in to learn the system, and Jimmy G, who already knows the system, took him to a Super Bowl in said system. Yesterday, Jimmy Garoppolo compared it all to what he was a part of back in New England. Take a listen to this.
Kind of, coming full circle. You go through this NFL career and you start as a young guy, come in. Tom kind of showed me the ropes. The competition between us was awesome. Really made me grow as a rookie and a young player. And so that's kind of what me and Trey will mold our relationship into that, but it'll happen naturally. Just it's one of those things you can't force anything. Just let it come as it may. I know how it was coming from FCS school to the NFL. It's a bit of an adjustment. The speed, whatever you want to call it, it's just different. So whatever I can do to help him, I'll be more than happy.
Jimmy, tell me what's going to be different about this year, because you guys have all the pieces to win the whole damn thing.
All right, well, 3-time Pro Bowl LeVar Arrington joining us now to break down what appears to be the nicest human on earth, or just what it sounds like. LeVar, you buying Jimmy G will be happy to help Trey Lance this coming season?
Absolutely, I'm buying it. And the reason why I'm buying it is because I don't feel as though Jimmy G looks at Trey Lance as being a problem to him, a threat to him in the immediate. When I hear something like this, I think to myself, I can remember when I played. You know, somebody made a great point, and I'm not sure who it was, so I don't want to give the wrong credit. But, you know, quarterback is kind of the only position that you don't necessarily have to compete for every single year. Most every other position, you're competing for your job. They're drafting somebody to take your job every single year. So when I look at the Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo situation, Jimmy is still looking at a situation that it's only staying healthy that's his issue right now. Now, other people may make it a bigger issue. Maybe they talk about the way he throws the ball, Kyle Shanahan not trusting him. It could be a plethora of other things that people think about as it applies to Jimmy Garoppolo. But I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan in this 49ers team is looking at it other than can he stay healthy? So Trey Lance is not the guy that they're bringing in to play immediately in San Francisco. It's still Jimmy Garoppolo's team. So I don't see there being any issue whatsoever. Yeah, B, that's to me, that's why Jimmy Garoppolo feels as though he's going to help Trey Lance. Go ahead.
So they gave up all of that, moved up to 3 for this guy to sit an entire year. Look, you are right. You know, if he's clean, if he's not injured and he plays well, he'll be the starter. But that's a big if. We haven't seen that the last couple years. But I am buying that Jimmy G will help out Trey Lance. Why? Because that's the culture. Every single year, there's you know that they're going to draft somebody to replace you. They're going to sign somebody to replace you. That is the organization's job, is to go find somebody to replace you because they know any given play you can go down. That's our culture in the locker room. Now, the quarterback position and the quarterbacks, they're different creatures.
You're not coming out in the media and
if it's the culture,
you're not.
Why not?
Because
why not?
Because within the culture, while I agree with you, it's within the culture to help guys that come out. But you're not going out of your way to have a conversation with the media like, yeah, they brought this guy in to take my job. And, oh, yeah, like, I'm going to help him out. I'm going to help him to take my job.
Well, here's the interesting thing. He had to.
You wouldn't do that, nor would I.
We haven't. What did we talk about when Nick was on his little sabbatical? We talked about it's like, where's Jimmy G? You and I talked. Where's Jimmy G? Jimmy G needs to say something. This is the first time we've heard from Jimmy G. So all this speculation around the quarterback position. Will Jimmy G be there? Will he not be there? He has to address this, and this is the best way to do it. Is to attack it head on. Now quarterbacks are different creatures. We talk about it all the time, but not all are sensitive like Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so Trey Lance coming in, he will lean on his experience in Foxborough in New England with Tom Brady and probably mimic exactly what happened to him there. But here's the deal, Nick. If Jimmy G slips, Trey Lance is going to be inserted into that offense, and it could be night-night. But this is an audition for Jimmy G. That's how he should approach it. The next 6 months is an audition for him. He can find himself in a better situation and potentially in Pittsburgh, a team who's going to be looking for a quarterback after this year.
Well, listen, Jimmy Garoppolo I believe, will start at least one game for the Niners this year, assuming he comes into the year healthy. And I think that is almost a guarantee he's going to start week 1. And I think it is an absolute guarantee he's not going to be on the team a year from now. He's going to be somewhere else. And to me, this is a statement of self-awareness. And I will give Jimmy Garoppolo credit. Jimmy Garoppolo knows he has not accomplished enough to be offended by a team trying to improve his position. He also knows it is in his best interest to be a great teammate, to try to play as well as he possibly can, because he's got a long career ahead of him potentially. So I think it is and I know I used this example before the draft in the argument as to why the Niners should select Trey Lance, even though I was duped into finally believing they wouldn't. But it's the exact thing Alex Smith did. Alex Smith saw his team trade multiple first-round picks to move up in the draft. He knew, okay, am I a starting quarterback in this league? Yes. Am I a good enough starting quarterback in this league to guarantee? Yes. Yeah, of course that's what I'm talking about.
And how,
but they didn't
how long
know.
Did it take? How long did it take for Pat Mahomes to get that starting job?
It took a year. Of course, it took a year. I'm not disagreeing with you, LeVar. I think it's on the board. I think it is on the board that Jimmy G starts throughout the year. I think that his hold on the job is tenuous. I think that obviously he has to stay healthy and he has to play well because they will be ready to move to Trey Lance. But I also don't think they feel like they have to move to Trey Lance this season, just like the Chiefs didn't feel like they had to move to Patrick Mahomes that season, even though he was brilliant according to all reports in practice. But Wildes, I think this is, go ahead. Go ahead, LeVar.
You're way more right than Brandon Marshall. It isn't just the way. You're way more correct than D. Marshall. I'm just letting you know.
You just want to argue. You just want to argue. Anything I say, you're going to go to the opposite end of the spectrum.
Hold on. Let me throw it to Wildes because Wildes has been the resident Jimmy G fan on this show for a couple years.
Yeah.
I think this is the best Jimmy G has looked since we've talked about it. I think this level of self-awareness and understanding and not... Okay, well, sure, he always looks good. I just think he comes across really well here because he knows who he is, he understands his role, and he doesn't seem to be, upset by it, which would, to me, show a sense of entitlement that he hasn't earned. So I think Jimmy G comes out here looking very good.
Yeah, I think when Jimmy G looked around NFL history, he said, how can I play this? It's like, well, Tom Brady and me, well, that didn't really work out because I got shipped away and Tom Brady won Super Bowl. That's not it. How about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love? Well, all right, well, Aaron Rodgers is mad and he's threatening to leave. Who else can I sort of model my behavior after? And Brandon, you know what? I think it's Kurt Warner and Eli, except he's much younger than Kurt Warner, where you know that you sort of had success. You got injured a lot. People gave up on you. Eli's going to come in. You play great, or you're like, you don't play great, but you sort of play like the elder statesman. You go to Arizona, you get to a Super Bowl. I think that's the move. The one thing I do want to push back on, Brandon, tell me what you think about this. There's a narrative out there that because Trey Lance is so athletic, he'll be willing to, he can start because he can make plays with his legs. Like, I'm not into that at all. Like, that really scares me if I was a 49ers fan. Like, if a play breaks down and you shouldn't really throw it away and you just decide to take off, I feel like that puts the future of the franchise at too much risk.
No, but also part of the narrative is that he's a quick processor. So, yes, we've seen the talent, the physical talent, but also you put him on the board, this kid knows football. So now you pair him with one of the greatest offensive coaches and Kyle Shanahan, this kid can go play. Let's go back in time. 2006 NFL draft. Hey, Jay Cutler. Mike Shanahan here. We're going to take you with the 11th pick. We're taking you next. Yeah, be ready to roll. Yeah, we're also going to take Tony Scheffler and Brandon Marshall later. We're going to give you some weapons, to help you out here in Denver. Okay, Coach, thank you so much. And then what happens? We go there. We got mini camp. We got quarterback camp. We got Jake Plummer. They're coming off, a loss from in the AFC Championship. But you got Jay Cutler with his little swoop hair, Southern boy hairstyle, slinging the ball. And every time he's throwing the ball, you got Champ Bailey, you got John Lynch, you got everybody like, oh my goodness. You got Rod Smith, excuse me. You got Rod Smith like, man, that guy can spin it. And then you also got Coach Shanahan and Coach Dinger like, man, this kid can play. And then what happens? We get into the season. We're playing pretty well. And then it's week 7, and they're like, you know what, Jay Cutler, it's your time. And in the middle of the game, Jay Cutler comes in, Jake Plummer's out, and the crowd is cheering. And that's what's going to happen this year. Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, they're still close, and they still work together. If Jimmy G slips just a little bit, Trey Lance will be in, and we're talking about week 4, week 5.
You drew all that up in your head. Golly, you kind of look like Future a little bit where I'm looking at you right now, man. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all better move that ball. Y'all better move that ball. Move that ball. Move that ball. Yep, y'all better move that ball. Hey, look here, man.
We're going to get 5.
We like it. We call it story time with Brandon Marshall every morning.
Yeah, that's so
LeVar, thank you so much. Back here, first things first, time for stories to start your morning, sponsored by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Talking 49ers now, and after all that pre-draft chatter, build-up, hype, and hoopla, their quarterback room will have Trey Lance coming in to learn the system, and Jimmy Garoppolo, who already knows the system, took him to a Super Bowl in said system. Yesterday, Jimmy G compared it to all what he had gone through in New England. Take a listen.
Kind of, coming full circle. You go through this NFL career and you start as a young guy, come in. Tom kind of showed me the ropes. The competition between us was awesome. Really made me grow as a rookie and a young player. And so that's kind of what me and Trey will mold our relationship into that, but it'll happen naturally. Just, it's one of those things you can't force anything. Just let it come as it may. I know how it was coming from FCS school to the NFL. It's a bit of an adjustment, the speed, whatever you want to call it. It's just different. So whatever I can do to help him, I'll be more than happy.
Hey, Brandon, are you buying that? You buying that Jimmy Garoppolo will be more than happy to help Trey Lance?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the culture. There's something about the locker room, and it's the fraternity. There's a couple of guys, they're just jerks when they draft a guy to get too sensitive and they treat him like crap. But the reality is those are the guys that we look at and you would say that's deviant. When a guy gets drafted, you'll see, the locker room, the wide receivers or the quarterbacks rally around that person and give them everything they need to be successful. That is the locker room. And Jimmy G, he knows, man, this is the only way. The next 6 months is an audition for Jimmy G. Jimmy G, if he stays healthy and he does his part, he plays his cards right, we could potentially see Jimmy G in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Steelers is a team that's going to need a quarterback. They're going to be in the market. That's a team that I'll be looking out for if I'm Jimmy G. So go out there, play your cards right, hold on as long as you can and lead your team. Stay healthy. Don't be a slow blinker. A lot of people, are talking about, well, what is the thing? Like, why aren't the Niners high on Jimmy G? Because all they've done is won with him when he's in the lineup and when he's healthy. Well, the thing that they're not talking about is if you watch the film, he's not making the reads quick enough. He's not getting through the offense and his progressions quick enough. So Jimmy G is playing his cards right so far. Because two weeks ago, Nick, we were asking, where's Jimmy G? Why isn't he saying anything? All this speculation and talk around the quarterback position in San Francisco.
I think this is the best Jimmy Garoppolo has looked, other than when he was emblazoned on George Kittle's T-shirt and they were going to the Super Bowl. I think this is an acute level of self-awareness of exactly where he is in the NFL hierarchy and within the 49ers organization. And I never hold against guys for being who they are. Like, whenever we talk about a guy who plays really poorly, sometimes you hear me say, you can't blame such and such for being themselves. They're just not that good. And so I don't you blame the team or the coach for putting them in a position asking more from them than they are equipped to give. Wilds, I think this is great by Jimmy Garoppolo. He understands if he stays healthy and plays well, he absolutely could do the Alex Smith thing. Play the whole year, including the playoff game or games you get in, and then have a very soft landing. If he gets hurt or plays poorly, he will be replaced. But at no point, he has not earned the right, like Rodgers did, to be angry they drafted his replacement. Because, of course, they drafted your replacement. You're not good enough to be irreplaceable. So I think his self-awareness here and lack of entitlement is very, I don't want to say endearing, but I think it's becoming, and I think it will work for him in his NFL future. What do you confused?
Oh, I definitely think it will. Jimmy GOAT, the young GOAT, getting trained under Tom Brady, now gets to take his services elsewhere. This is his last year. It reminds me of Kurt Warner and Eli. Works out good for everybody. Kurt Warner's there, like, hey, I'll help you out, buddy. I'll eventually lose my job, and you'll win some Super Bowls. Meanwhile, Kurt Warner goes to Arizona, goes to Super Bowl himself. So I think that's what's going to happen to Jimmy G. Maybe Denver, maybe Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh a lot, Brandon. So I think this is a one-year audition for him. Go ahead. You're talking about the young GOAT?
I keep bringing up the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes thing.
Stop it.
Because they traded up. I think the Kurt Warner example, which I had not thought of till you mentioned it, is a brilliant one. I think that is now, obviously, Jimmy G has not accomplished in his career what Kurt Warner had, but people need to remember how out the entire football world was on Kurt Warner when he was with the Giants.
Kurt Warner.
Thought he had been replaced by Mark Bulger. They thought he was done. The Giants obviously were out on him, and they benched him. I think they had a winning record when they turned the page to Eli because they were ready. But he handled it like a pro, Brandon, and because of that, he ends up having a soft landing in Arizona, and it is that finish of his career that put him in the Hall of Fame. That run, that near MVP and getting to the Super Bowl. So I think that is a great
Jimmy G,
example.
Hall of Fame.
I think it's a great example.
Ball out,
Jimmy G. Good topic.
Ignore the noise. Just ball out, baby.
Go.
Edelman and Jimmy G.
Undisputed coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.